Senate will come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Bridges. Buckner. Coleman. Cook. Quorum. Danielson.
Excused.
Donovan. Finberg. Fields. Fields.
Just wait.
Gardner. Janal.
Mr. Panetta, Mr.
Throw that away, so you're going to do the long script, right?
Yeah, I already did.
Fields.
Okay, we're waiting on you. Just say your name. So, do me a favor, give me a call. He's going to start marking everybody absent.
I'll go check her office.
I got her. Yeah, someone took a parking spot. And so I just told her, just to let us know.
Excused.
She's been late every day now.
Gonzalez. Hanson. Heisey.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Heisey.
Excused.
Holbert. Hawkes Lewis. Kirkmeyer. Colker. Lee. Liston. Lundeen. Moreno. Patterson. Patterson. Priola. Rankin. Rodriguez. Scott.
Here.
Simpson. Smallwood. Sonnenberg. Story. Winter. Winter. Woodward. Zenzinger. Mr. President,
Here. With 32 present, 0 absent, 3 excused, we have a quorum. Would the good senator from Brighton please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Mr. President. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the journal. Senator Coker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the reading of the Journal of Tuesday, March 23rd, 2021 be dispensed with and the Journal be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. Senate Services.
March 24th, correctly read and gross Senate Bills 59, 77, 81, 99, 130, 144, 157, 172, and 179. Correctly re-revised House Bill 1025.
Second reading of bills. Consent calendar. Mr. Majority Leader.
Robert.
Senator Rodriguez.
So we'll just play it by ear and see how fast they move over there. All right.
Whenever it's, no, there's no time limits to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of General Orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The Senate will resolve itself the Committee of the Whole for consideration of General Order, second reading of bills, consent calendar, and Senator Rodriguez will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title of all the bills on General Order, second reading of bill consent calendar?
Senate Bill 13 by Senator Fields and Representatives Bacon and Froelich concerning measures to address student learning loss occurring as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the adoption of all the bills on the consent calendar and their associated committee reports, which only includes Senate Bill 13 and the Education Committee report.
Is there any discussion on the committee report? The motion before the body is the adoption of the committee reports on the General Order, second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it and the committee reports are adopted. Is there any discussion on any of the bills on the consent calendar? The motion before the body is the adoption of all bills on General Order, second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bills are adopted. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes still have it, and the motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has had a bill under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report has had in consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 13 as amended, passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
The motion is for the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 32 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 3 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 013 is amended, passed on second reading, and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General Order, second reading of bills. Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of General Orders, second reading of bills.
Will the clerk please add Senator Fields to the roll call? You have heard the previous motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have, and the Senate resolve itself to the Committee of the Whole for consideration of General Order, second reading of bills, and Senator Rodriguez will take the chair.
committee will come to order and the coat rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title of all the bills on general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar? Sorry. Second reading of bills, second reading of bills. Senator Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 177 layover until tomorrow, March 25th.
That is a proper motion. Done. Let's take a vote on it.
Or not.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Darn it.
Is this majority leader guy down here?
Senator Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 124 layover until tomorrow, March 25th.
That is a proper motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. Ayes have it. That bill is laid over. Will the clerk please read the list of bills on general order second reading? Will the clerk please read this first bill on second reading of bills?
Senate Bill 135 by Senators Janal and Zenzinger and Representative Duran and Froelich concerning the prohibition of use of certain animals in the Traveling Animal Act.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 135 and the Agricultural and Natural Resources Report.
Thank you. To the committee report.
So we adopted 2 amendments in committee, the first of which was regarding motion pictures, and the second one was to clarify that no part of this bill applied to livestock, working dogs, horse shows, or any exhibition that involves livestock, including rodeos. And those were successfully amended in committee, and I ask for an aye vote on the report.
Senator Janal.
We're on the report.
Oh, nothing? All right. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion on the floor is the adoption of the Ag Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. To the committee report. Senator Janal.
Thank you. To the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill is about preventing animal cruelty of a particular kind, and that kind involves exotic or circus types of animals that are kept in cages for most of their lives as they are moved from town to town in cramped conditions with limited or no veterinary care, and are often forced to perform with the use of prods, tasers, and whips. These types of animals are tigers, lions, elephants, and so forth, are popular animals for circus performances, but when these animals are kept caged for 90% of their existence, and their performances are forced under the threat of pain, is that fair to them? Is that right? And that's why this bill is so important, because it really isn't fair to them. And I want to be clear that this bill does not impact rodeos, it does not impact stock shows, 4-H clubs, or ranching. Livestock and alternative livestock are clearly and specifically excluded from this bill. The animals that it does cover are only the exotic animal types that are specifically listed in the bill. It does not affect zoos, sanctuaries, aquariums, educational, and scientific programs that have these kinds of animals. Simply put, this bill is about stopping the extreme cruelty that is put upon circus types of animals for entertainment's sake, and it needs to end. Senate Bill 135 ensures the humane treatment of and welfare for these animals, as well as our own public safety. The circus can still go on, the show can still go on, just not with these animal performances. I ask for an aye vote for Senate Bill 135.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I, too, come before you today with Senate Bill 135 concerning a prohibition on the use of certain animals in a Traveling Animal Act. Members who were here last year will remember that we passed this policy to the House just before the health emergency derailed the session. So you know that this is not our first rodeo. In fact, you will remember that with this bill, you still get all the rodeos you want. Now, the serious core of this bill is ending the mistreatment of exotic animals in traveling performances. And these wild animals spend their entire lives in cages and on the road. They are put through the cruelest tortures to force them to perform in painful and unnatural ways, and we've heard testimony about lacerated animals, diseased and destroyed animals, all to elicit performances with no value of conservation or education. Now, we easily found broad agreement that these inhumane performances were a problem and we should end them. Much of the circus industry has already moved away from relying on these abusive practices, but a few still remain and they do come here. The challenge of focusing the language to only include what we intended to has been the work of years of stakeholding, and it has boiled down to a narrow definition of 3 things. All 3 things must be present in order to fit under this bill: the types of animals that are listed, the types of performances, and they must be traveling. All 3 conditions must be met. Now, defining these terms can make you a little batty. Trying to ferret out what is here and not here can be a challenge, but if you take stock of this bill, you will find no bull. Nothing in here will get your goat. Domestic canines are not in this doggone bill. Domestic felines don't fit the category. Now, we are only talking about wild and non-native animals here, non-domesticated. The animals that apply to this bill need to be traveling. An elephant is fine until he packs his trunk. A big cat sanctuary doesn't count because the animals are just lying there. The animals also need to be in a performance. It excludes educational purposes, scientific purposes, conservation and rescue, and other venues where the animals are free to act however they naturally act. Zoos are okay because the only ones monkeying around are the monkeys. Still, some of our stakeholders may have been a little chicken, and they wanted declarations spelled out that they did not fit into the bill before they would give it their seal of approval. But if you look at the text with an eagle eye, you will see that we corralled the exotic animals that we intended to without rounding up the traditional agricultural entertainments involved in our domesticated and livestock species. With that said, I will save the very worst of my puns to discourage amendments and urge an aye vote.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and that was an excellent presentation. It took some real time to put that together, and I actually appreciate that from the sponsor. I almost appreciated it enough to not bring my amendment. It was so good. But with that, Mr. Chair, I do have an amendment.
There is an amendment on the desk. Will the clerk please read Amendment L005?
Amendment L005,
Sonnenberg.
Senate 135.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L005, and no, I will not move it. Is that what's doing it?
Senator, will you please move the amendment?
I move amendment L005. Sorry, this is outrageous. Anyhow, members, what this does, in committee, we had talked about why some are exempt, and we talked about the reason is because a licensed veterinarian is there. So what this does is says that if you have a licensed veterinarian at any of these functions, the entire time of this function, they would be exempt from this. I'm asking for your aye vote to allow these events to happen if they're being watched, if they have somebody there that is an expert, such as a veterinarian. Ask for an aye vote.
Senator Zenzinger, before I recognize you, I want you to know that the chair of the Committee of the Whole has discovered that I have access to shut off your mic. Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, members, I would like to encourage a nay vote on this amendment. This amendment is completely irrelevant, and I just don't think it meets the right qualifications. Thank you.
Senator Sonnenberg.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. In all seriousness, the reason that in committee we were asked why exempt some events other than others, the answer was that there is a veterinarian on site. And if that works for those other events, why should it not work for these events? I think it's important to note that if a veterinarian signs off on the treatment of animals, that they are probably the experts and we should yield to their decision. And if they are there signing off, I think the event should happen rather than bureaucrats saying that it should not. Ask for an aye vote.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, that was actually a truncated response. The actual response is that there are 135 pages of requirements for motion pictures that use animals, which was the context of that question. These traveling circus animals actually do not use any of those 135 pages of regulations, including having a certified veterinarian on site. So in addition to a certified veterinarian, they would also need to comply with all 135 pages that the Motion Picture Association actually does abide by in order for it to meet the standards and the guidelines. I will just say that I know this is, we're kind of making light of this topic, but it is a serious topic because it does have to do with animal cruelty. And so really the question before you right now, whether to adopt this amendment or not, is whether to support or not to support. That truly is the equestrian, and I ask for a no vote.
Senator Liston.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, I rise in support of the Sonnenberg amendment. If a veterinarian is present in some of these other situations that the good sponsor has talked about, then it ought to be fine for these traveling circuses. So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. I urge an aye vote on the Sonnenberg amendment.
Senator Priola. Oh, Senator Quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, when we talk about bills like this, we always worry about getting the proverbial camel's nose under the tent.
Senator, we're speaking to the amendment.
This is to the amendment.
Okay, sorry, it's to the bill.
Because we talk about veterinarian and exemptions to this bill. I come from the horse racing industry. There's a vet check on every horse that's before it goes to the track. You know, very important. Sometimes they are scratched. The vet says, nope, not running today. There's heat in the ankle or something like that. But my question involves the motion picture industry. So, the motion picture industry has all these exemptions, but if a documentary is filming a traveling circus, is it permitted?
Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of Amendment L005. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. The noes have it and the amendment is lost. Senator Priola.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I have a question to the bill regarding As many of you may or may not know, for many years up at CU, I was involved in the Ralphie Handler program. I do see the term bison mentioned once as an exemption to a hybrid, but is anything in this bill preclude the longstanding tradition up at the University of Colorado of running Ralphie, which could be considered traveling as Ralphie has ran at bowl games and in Athens, Georgia, and so on and so forth?
Senator Zenzinger.
No, it is excluded from the bill because it's livestock.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the adoption of Senate Bill 005. All those in favor say aye. 135, sorry. 135. Aye. Noes? The ayes have it. The bill is passed. Will the clerk please read Senate Bill 066?
Senate Bill 66 by Senator Lee and Representative Michelson Janae concerning juvenile diversion programs.
Senator Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 66 and the Judiciary Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Judiciary Committee adopted Amendment 001, which removed pre-arrest diversion from the bill, described the use of a pre-screening tool, added some language to the data to be recovered, and removed the funding allocation model. We ask for an aye vote on the Judiciary Committee report.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of the Judiciary Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. There is an amendment on the bill. Will the clerk please read Amendment L002?
Amendment L002 to
Senator Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The amendment is a consensus amendment to move the effective date of a section of the bill, and I ask for an aye vote on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Senator Lee. Will you please move your amendment?
I move Amendment 002 to Senate Bill 66. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion is adoption of Amendment L002. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes overwhelmingly have it, and the amendment is adopted. To the bill, Senator Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill came out of the Judiciary Committee by a vote of 5-0. It is a consensus bill that resulted from the work of the Juvenile Justice Reform Committee, which was designed and intended to implement the provisions of Senate Bill 108. If you follow that train, Senate Bill 108 was a major revision of all juvenile justice in Colorado, designed to bring our practices into accord with practices that work and are best evidence and supported by research. So this bill basically implements diversion practices that are consistent with best evidence and research around the country. I ask for an aye vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is adoption of Senate Bill 66. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted.
Thank you.
Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion before the committee is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report.
The committee will come to order. Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
March 24th, Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report as had in consideration the following attached bills being the second reading thereof and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bills 135 as amended, Senate Bill 66 as amended, passed on second reading in order engrossed and placed in the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 177, Senate Bill 124 laid over until 325 and retaining their place on the calendar.
Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption of the report.
Motion is for adoption of the committee of the whole report. Mr. Panetta, will you please add Senator Heisey to the roll call? Are there any no votes? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent. Correction. With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excuse, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 135 is amended. Senate Bill 066 is amended, passed on second reading, ordered and grossed and placed on the calendar for third reading, final passage. Senate Bill 177, Senate Bill 124 laid over until 3/25/21, retaining the place on the calendar. Message from the governor.
June 15, 2020, to the Honorable Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred upon me by the Constitution and laws of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, reappoint, and submit to consideration the following members of the Colorado State Fair Authority Board of Commissioners, effective immediately for a term expiring November 1st, 2021. Jeffrey Manders of Colorado Springs, Colorado, and unaffiliated from the 5th Congressional District and a certified public accountant, reappointed, effective immediately for a term expiring November 1st, 2023. Brian Coiler Copum of Longmont, Colorado, and unaffiliated from the 4th Congressional District, reappointed. Miguel Baca Barragan of Denver, Colorado, a Democrat from the 1st Congressional District, reappointed. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Committee reports.
Right, don't I read it, and then he says A to sign to committee?
Are we on message from the governor?
Yes. Am I wrong?
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
June 25th, 2020, to the Honorable Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred upon me by the Constitution and laws of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, reappoint, and submit to your consideration the following members of the Colorado Tourism Office Board of Directors for a term expiring June 1st, 2024. Robert Stinscombe of Lafayette, Colorado, to serve as representative of the ski industry, reappointed. Wanda James of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a representative of the tourism-related retail industry and small business, reappointed. Laura Valdez of Fort Collins, Colorado, to serve as representative of private travel attractions and casinos, appointed. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
November 20th, 2020, to the Honorable Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred upon me by the Constitution and laws of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, reappoint, and submit to your consideration the following members of the Colorado Tourism Board of Directors for a term expiring June 1st, 2022. Alexander John Boyne of Erie, Colorado, to serve as an at-large member from a tourism-based industry and occasioned by the resignation of Kieran Kane of Lafayette, Colorado, appointed. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
October 20th, 2020, to the Honorable Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred upon me by the Constitution and laws of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, reappoint, and submit to your consideration the following members of the Colorado Water Resources and Power Development Authority for a term expiring October 1st, 2024. Eric Wilkerson of Greeley, Colorado, to serve as representative from the South Platte Drainage Basin and as a member who has experience in engineering aspects of water projects, appointed. Patricia Wells of Denver, Colorado, a representative from the city and county of Denver who is familiar with the water problems and a member who has experience in water law, appointed. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
June 17th, to the Honorable Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred upon me by the Constitution and laws of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, reappoint, and submit to consideration the following members of the Coal Mine Board of Examiners for a term expiring July 1st, 2024. John Carroll Polis of PE of Paonia, Colorado, to serve as a Colorado mine owner, operator, manager of other mine official actively engaged in the underground coal mining industry during the term of office. Reappointed. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
July 10th, 2020, to the Honorable Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred upon me by the Constitution and laws of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, reappoint, and submit to consideration the following member of the Groundwater Commission for terms expiring May 1st, 2024. Timothy Potler of Stratton, Colorado, a resident agriculturalist from the Northern High Plains Basin, appointed. James M. Noble of Denver, Colorado, to serve as representative of municipal or industrial users, reappointed. Angela Beth Fowler of Glenwood Springs, Colorado, to serve as representative of Western Slope municipal or industrial users, reappointed. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
October 9, 2020, to the Honorable Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred on me by the Constitution and laws of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, submit to your consideration the following members of the Groundwater Commission for terms expiring May 1st, 2023. Jason Ryan Crane of Springfield, Colorado, to serve as a resident agriculturalist from the Southern High Plains, occasioned by the resignation of Blake Austin Gorley of Springfield, Colorado, appointed. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
November 20th, 2020, to the Honorable Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred upon me by the Constitution and laws of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, reappoint, and submit to consideration the following members of the Colorado State Fair Authority Board of Commissioners for terms expiring November 1st, 2024. Aaron Miskalski of Breckenridge, Colorado, non-affiliated from Western Slope and 2nd Congressional District, and a member with substantial experience in agricultural or in the activities of 4-H clubs appointed. Nicole Weathers of Yuma, Colorado, Republican from the 4th Congressional District, and a member with substantial experience in agriculture or in the activities of 4-H clubs appointed. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Agriculture and Natural Resources. Committee reports.
March 23rd, Committee on State, Veteran, and Military Affairs. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 132 be amended as follows. So amended, be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. March 23rd, Committee on State, Veterans, and Military Affairs. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 160 be amended as follows, and as so amended, be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation, and with a recommendation to be placed on the consent calendar. March 23rd, Committee on State, Veteran, and Military Affairs. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 159 be postponed indefinitely. March 23rd, Committee on State, Veteran, and Military Affairs. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1075 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. March 23rd, Committee on State, Veterans, and Military Affairs. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1054 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. March 23rd, Committee on State, Veterans, and Military Affairs. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1137 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation, with a recommendation that it be placed on the consent calendar. March 23rd, Committee on State, Veterans, and Military Affairs. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 149 be postponed indefinitely.
Message from the House. Announcements. Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Announcement for those who have bills or sit on the Senate Business, Labor, and Technology Committee. At 1:30, we will be meeting in room 271 in the Old State Library. Also, announcement, I will be moving Senate Bill 134 to the end of the calendar. We'll be hearing Senate Bill 160 in this order. Senate Bill 163, Senate Bill 63, Senate Bill 133, and at the end, Senate Bill 134.
Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. There will be a change of bills that will be heard in Senate Agricultural and Natural Resources tomorrow. We will not be hearing House Bill 1102, and that will be rescheduled to next week. That is consumer protection for dog and cat purchasers.
Senator Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Judiciary Committee will be meeting 15 minutes after adjournment in the old Supreme Court to hear 138 and 143. Thank you.
The good senator from Colorado Springs District 11 will be fined for referring to the president as chair. Senator Fields. Senator Fields.
Good morning, Mr. President and my colleagues. Members of the Senate Health and Human Services Committee, there is a change on our agenda today. We will not be hearing Senate Bill 181. We're going to reschedule that for next week. We're meeting at 1:30 in Senate Committee Room 357.
Any further announcements? Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, we do have some bills to read across, so we will be recessing. You do not need to be here for that. Mr. President, I move that the Senate recess until 11 a.m. today.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate will stand in recess until 1100 hours today.